Hey everybody, John Q, how are you? Just want to do a mic check before we begin. Y'all can drop me a 1 in the chat just to let me know we are up and running. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Okay, okay, we got some 1s in here. Oh, how's everybody doing? I hope well. It has been a very busy weekend for me, and wanted to come on live tonight, share some information as a heads up on some things. Been seeing some things, hearing some things, so I thought I'd come on and say some things, if y'all don't mind. Let's see what we got in the chat. All right. Thanks so much for the 1s. It just lets me know that we are live. Carlene, Beverly, Rayanne, Vanessa Jones, Carol King, Tanya Daniels. I shout people out. That's right. You come to my channel, I'm going to shout you out. Absolutely. All of us are a part of a team. Each and every single one of us. Eat. Beverly Palmer. Lynetta Williams. Dewana Farrell. Stephanie. Yo Mo Mama. Yo Mama. Yes, I am back. I am back. Wanted to jump on live tonight. Hope everybody's weekend has been a good one, productive, focused, and God blessed. Mine certainly was. Was able to accomplish a lot in a short period of time, and was able to go over my update, the upcoming Part 8 update. And that's what I wanted to talk with you a little bit tonight about. It will be released. Everyone was messaging me through comments, and you got my email address, and patiently waiting. When is it coming out? When is it coming out? When is it coming out? And I thought, oh my goodness, okay. Well, I got to handle some stuff over here, but we are working on getting it transferred to my computer. And we had a little bit of an issue doing a data transfer over to my new computer because operating off of the tablet. All of my work had been on my tablet, and my tablet works fine. And it was just synchronizing everything for complete data transfer. So I'm still in the process doing a tablet to laptop computer data transfer. Right. So once that's been completed, then I can go ahead and post part 8. BB, what's up, lady, Luscious, Deborah Harris, Rayanne, Cold Pepsi, Linda Truman, and once we got that completed, then we can go ahead and release the part 8 of our series, which during my last live, I had some questions about why I took it down. And the reason I had to just temporarily remove it was because of sound issues. I did review the last live. Actually, it was a test, as I told you, and there was just so many people in the chat room. I decided to stay for 3 hours. So you kidnapped me on a test for 3 hours. That's never happened before. So this will be an official live tonight. I wanted to, and you guys helped me to fine tune a lot of the equipment now that I'm using to go live. I will be going live more often, so we will be having a constant dialogue. Miss Anointed, Cold Pepsi, Linda Jackson. Yes, BB. I watch you every morning for coffee. You always got stuff going on over there on Facebook. For y'all don't know, BB is Barbara Barris. She has a Facebook page. I highly suggest and recommend if you can get over to her page. She does current events of the cases that we're going to be looking into. We've been staying very close to her and her casework because she is very adamant about her work in terms of delivering time-sensitive information in a time-giving way. And she tries to give you the best report that she has and up-to-date information as she gets it. So she just doesn't do one live. She could do 3, 4 lives in a day, just staying constant with that information. So, BB, I love you. Love you for being you. Love you for, putting your heart out there and sharing with people some of the most important things that we all need to keep our eyes on in regards to a lot of the cases that have been coming our way. We're here tonight to talk about the Kenneka Jenkins case. And in parts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we tried to map out a story in progression so that you can take a look at it, not in bits and pieces and parts scattered like shattered glass, but in a consistent, logical manner so you follow. And that's the most important thing when you're doing an investigation, private or public investigation, is making sure that things make sense. It's got to make sense. I think Chloe Olvera did it perfectly in her last video. If it doesn't make sense, then it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit, it doesn't make sense. And I'm sure everyone would agree. It would only make sense because individually, all of us, if we were in a situation, but in any situation, we are not looking for shattered glass. We're looking for common sense. We're looking for the truth, and the only way you get there is through common sense. And so I agree. I'm in agreement with that. So thank you, Chloe, for mentioning that in your last video. I thought it was awesome, the work that you're doing, part 1, 2, and 3, and getting ready to do part 4. So yeah, we'll definitely get to some updates on Teresa's lawsuit and any truth about it being dismissed. The answer is no. The lawsuit is still active. The lawsuit is still active. I wanted to continue our question and answers tonight with you because the screen kept rolling and rolling and rolling in regards to a lot of the questions that many of us have about the Kenneka Jenkins case. And I'm only one person. I'm doing my own investigation, covering as much ground as possible, and then releasing videos on my findings. I'm working together with a team, and my team has put together so much information. I go through it, I have to sort it, I've got to take a look at it. It's got to fit a timeline, and it's got to make sense. If it makes sense, I put it together, look at it again, and then again, and then again until I'm satisfied, and then I go ahead and release it. That's how I've treated every one of my parts. Um, I'm very meticulous when it comes to this type of information because we're talking about Kenneka Jenkins. She was 19 at the time in 2017, who went to the Crown Plaza Hotel in Rosemont, Illinois, and lost her life. And we've followed this story. I began following this story from the 11th, and privately, quietly, just watching the story unfold until the activists got involved and saw the story unfold in an entirely different direction, and then followed it from there. So that was my views, my observation of it at that time, and felt strong enough this year after spending some time with Malika the Lioness, who happens to have a sensational platform and was on the story, on the case. And she asked me to join her on her platform, and that's where I got in trouble. Good trouble, not bad, good trouble, because she felt that I was knowledgeable in what I was able to share and find and offer that to her audience on her platform. So that's what I did. And ever since then, I've stayed in contact with her and several other serious YouTubers with the investigative mindset I talked to you about, because their insights were very important to my education in regards to where to look for information and how to present it. And Chloe Vera, Malika the Lioness, um, and I've mentioned them in the first live. Uh, Humongous D, 54 Keys. I have questions. I've learned a lot regarding their insightful wisdom in this case, enough for me to track and find what I was looking for. I'm looking for one specific thing, and that specific thing is the cause. Once we get to the cause, the rest of it falls into place. We're dealing with the effects of the case. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with shattered glass, and we're trying to figure out what the glass looked like before it was broken. If you follow my method. And once we find out what the glass was before it got broken, then we can begin to identify how the pieces fit together. And once they do, then the story makes sense. And if you agree that, please type a 1 in the chat room so I know everybody that's following me on this. It's important, and that's why I'm able to go live and share with you my findings and how I'm looking at the case. Not everyone looks at the case the same. We're all different. We're all unique. All of us have different insights, and life is perception. And if you see the color red like I see the color red, or the color blue like I see the color blue, and we're on the same page, well, guess what? We can't get lost. Unfortunately, at this point, it is unfortunate at this point that there's so much regarding this case that's out there on YouTube that sometimes it begins to look like shattered glass. And we are not looking at a full picture like we want to. We want to understand. We want to identify the people that are involved. And we want to see this case get justice. And so the way it's going to get justice is through common sense, basic common sense. Thank you for all the ones. I hope I'm coming in loud and clear. I believe a couple of people said that there were some glitches in my last live, so that's why I took it down, because I needed to review it, and I did find a lot of it fluctuating in and out from time to time, but I didn't want to lose anybody either. So I temporarily took it down to see if we can do some editing to tighten it up a little bit and get it back up there, which made me think, well, let's do it live. And let's go through our questions and answers, because there were a lot of people, all of you, a lot of questions, and we were rolling, and I didn't notice the time, and we got lost in 3 hours of time. So thank you very much, all of you. It felt good that night. I went to sleep like a baby, but it felt good that night knowing that I was able to touch base with you, and you were able to touch base with me, and in a way that we can begin a path together and unfolding this a little bit faster because of the information sharing that's been going back and forth. So I thank every single one of you, because the most important thing that we are getting down to right now in this case is the who. That's where I want to be. I know the who. Let me get back in the chat room and say hello to um, all of you. 130 people in here. Malika the Lioness is in the chat room tonight. How you doing? I was just talking about you, so your ears must have been ringing. Yeah, how we got started, and the platform that you have, and inviting me started this all, for me, into getting very serious about investigating this case on my own, and then sharing it with Malika and her audience has been a fabulous experience, to say the least. So Malika, sweetheart, thank you. Thank you very much. It helped me to put together my platform. All commendations and appreciations and my heartfelt love goes to Malika for, sharing with me a big part of her uh, on this YouTube live chat stuff that we've been doing. Okay. So, yeah, so I want to just jump into the chat room here. If you have questions or comments, uh, you can definitely start to throw them up. I'm going to do the best I can to cover what I know. If I'm not able to answer your question, I'm going to tell you right there, I did not get there, or I don't have an answer yet. But it definitely helps me to put notes together, to gather your questions, and then start to take a look at how that fits into the case. With that said, Marvin Atkins, how you doing? Shantae Washington, how you doing? I'm getting used to this new laptop, so a lot of stuff begin to slide in front of me, pop-ups and all this other stuff. So I'll learn how to get to disable them while I'm live, so I don't miss anybody. DC Bama, I've seen a good portion of your videos. You're on fire. 3209 DC Bama. If you haven't been to DC Bama's channel, definitely take a look. They're doing their own independent investigation, and coming up with some very good material in terms of how they're opening things up, on YouTube. Everyone who's made a contribution to this case is important. Every single one. There's no downside to this. Okay, all of us have different parts and pieces, as I said before, regarding this case, and then we come on to try to share it the best way we can. Our presentations are not 100% professional and all that stuff. We're just trying to make sense of it and share it. And the more we try to do that in regards to keeping Kenneka Jenkins' name alive, the longer we do that, it gives us a chance to put together the information and get it over to proper authorities. I did mention in my last live that that was my goal. We're not just throwing up videos for entertainment. I wouldn't be doing this, and you wouldn't be hearing my voice. I wouldn't have been a part of this platform or posting videos, none of it. Okay, for entertainment purposes. There's a goal in mind. The very best pieces of the information that we have from various different YouTubers, serious YouTubers, common sense, logical YouTubers that have dedicated time and money and hours to improving the equipment that they use just to try to get this information out. So those are the ones that we want to talk to, and we're going to be talking to in regards to put together a package to have the FBI re-examine this case. Once we get to that part, we're going to do a live and do a live phone call to them so that we can get contact information, follow-up information, and who's going to be reviewing it and so forth. And that's the overall objective. That's my overall objective for doing what I'm doing. There are a Class A group of YouTubers that have put together some great information, stuff that I haven't even put out that's already out there. So I'm not going to duplicate what they're doing. In fact, I'm going to complement it by pulling it together into the composite package that we're looking to put together. And I hope to do that very, very soon. As I said, these YouTubers that have been working on this case. Tay is in the room. Okay. Tay is in the room. Tay of the Dish is in the room. Dark and Lovely is in the room. Stephanie Gonzalez is in the room. Welcome. So once this is Death with a Heartbeat, once this is accomplished, I think by doing this and pulling together the information from the YouTubers that I mentioned in my last slide, we will have accomplished the thing that we've been after, all of us. And that is getting this case reopened, okay? And it's not to spite anything else, but get the case reopened. And once it is, we want to be the ones to follow up, because we're not leaving this in anybody else's lap. Okay, they got the case, so, you know, we did our job and then we'll move on. No, we have to follow up. And I will be the point man to do that. Period. Period. Vanessa Jones, Stark and Lovely, Carlene Bain. Okay, how you doing? And so that I wanted to share that with you, so you know why I do my videos the way I do, why I'm going live, why I'm posting my comments on those YouTubers' videos and watching their lives, watching everybody, okay, just like they watch me. And so that's where we're at. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm taking it. And those that want to come along, come on. Let's go. Let's get this done. Let's get this done. Yes, I saw someone write Sam. She's on my list. I have questions on my list. Okay, on my list. Humongous D on my list. Malika the Lioness on my list. Chloe Olvera on my list. Amp Easy on my list. Chaos Sector on my list. Jackie Dragon on my list. Beach Beauty on my list, and I can go over a host of them because they're all on my list. They're all contacted by me, and if they want to join, definitely. And it's not going to be, uh, let's just say, a chaotic moment or anything, but it'll be a one-on-one situation to go over with the content creator, and whatever they want to release to me, point out to me that they want to release, then I can mark it down, put it all together, and we can do it electronically and right over to the FBI and have them review it in hopes that they will reopen this case. A lot of worked hard. I'd like to see it accomplish something, don't you? And if you do, type a one. I want to see it accomplish something. So that's why I'm here. Yes, I questions team. Yep, they're on my list, most definitely. Death with a Heartbeat. Absolutely. Because for all of us to do this and gain nothing from it, just the conversation, I'm not interested. A lot of work to do this stuff, and long hours to put it together. Kenneka's counting on us. Now, as for Teresa Martin, uh, her case is still active in the courts. Okay, a lawsuit for negligence against the hotel, against the Murray Brothers Caddyshack restaurant, against the security company, and against the real estate company is still active. And what they're trying to do is to exhaust her resources, her emotions, her everything that she's put into this by stalling and trying to convince the court that this is a frivolous case. This was an accident. And that's all it really was. That's how they're looking at it. But we know better. We all know better because this was no accident. There is a cause to this case. And this cause showed up in the crime scene photos. If you just take a look at the crime scene photos just by themselves, the cause is evident. That is no accident. That can never be looked at as an accident. And for the story to say that someone walked into a freezer, closed two doors behind them, and decided in the dark just to lay down and let it go is downright not true. Nika didn't do that. Part 8, what I'm going to be able to show is just that. It's a critical part to the series. It gets to the heartbeat from my investigation along with the team. It gets to the heartbeat of what happened regarding that freezer. Because once you see it and you go over that information, you're going to know a whole lot more about R95 and R94 than you ever seen on YouTube regarding this case. I know I'm making a bold statement. I always do because I can back it up. That's why. And back it up in such a way that you won't miss it. I promise you. In part 1, when we started with the two young ladies, Miranda Morgan and her friend at the time, who recorded the original video footage before any of us seen it. It must have startled the hell out of them as to what they saw. Kenneka walking around the halls with all these people jumping in and out of places and directing her and pushing her and guiding her, manipulating her during that time. For us to have even been able to have been given a chance to see that, that holds 100% evidence evidence in this case for it to be a criminal act. And then we found out something else. Something happened to that evidence. Taken down off Facebook, was posted on YouTube, went viral in both places, and then slowly manipulated off of YouTube. You can rarely find that video now, but it holds a lot of truth. And that's where I started my investigation from. In part two, we talked about the upper kitchen area. Okay, let me get to some of your comments while I'm doing this. John made the most sense in this case out of everyone. It's how you presented it that caught your attention. Well, thank you. Death with a beat. This is exactly what Kenneka deserves. I agree fully, fully. I agree. They're trying to control the damage. They did. Yes, Linda. Yeah, and they're still in damage control. Okay. The plaza is still in damage control. You can go to the Rosemont Public Safety website today, and whether you I want you to do something because you're going to find something very interesting. If you have a cell phone and you have a laptop or desktop computer, I would like for you to visit the public safety website, go to the death investigation area in which they posted this information, go to the narratives. I don't want you to poke around in pictures. I just want you to go to the narratives and don't open any narrative because we pretty much know what's there. Okay. I just want you to look at the narratives in their entirety before you open them. And I want you to check the dates the narratives were posted. I want you to check for the dates they were posted, and I want you to check for the modification dates that are posted. And you're going to find the difference between something that shows up on your desktop, laptop, and then something that's going to show up on your tablet or your cell phone. And then I want you to compare the two. And then you will have a good part of what's going on. Case from the Rosemont Public Safety website. Because you're going to see a lot of changes, modifications, redactions in the reports themselves. That were used way in the beginning have changed dramatically to date. Statements that were made way in the beginning, there are some statements, and I'm going to share that in part 8. Some statements have changed dramatically. And it's in regards, and I can point you in the direction that'll give you a little heads up for part 8. It was in regards to how the Rosemont Police Department searched for Kenneka. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay. How the Rosemont Police Department searched for Kenneka, what they did, how they communicated amongst each other, and how they were split up into 3 and 4 specific groups to try to search and locate Kenneka. And once we began to take a look at that narrative, and it is in narrative report number 2, you can find it. It's under admin number 2. You make a note of that. And I want you to go over that 3-page report. You're going to find a composite from the time they got there, the time that they spoke to the front desk, how they divided themselves up, who was with who, how they searched, and then how they found Kenneka. The most important part of this case is in that document. Right there in that document. I studied that document hard, and I tried to follow it based upon what we've been able to already collect. And I was startled at what I found. And so will you. And hence the reason for part 8. Like how quick Dr. Oz and Nancy Grace just backed off. Yeah, Megan, absolutely. Where's the follow-up? I spoke about Dr. Oz and Nancy Grace in my test live, And I was very disappointed that they didn't follow up, that they didn't offer Teresa Martin any additional assistance after the show. And that paradoxical undressing, the idea that came from Dr. Oz, didn't fit the crime scene photos because Kenneka did not experience paradoxical undressing. Which I felt was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and it kind of ticked me off. Um, Nancy Grace did do a radio broadcast in regards to that, and but didn't follow up. She interviewed Larry Rogers Jr., Teresa Martin's first attorney, in regards to what happened to Kenneka, but yet there was no follow-up afterwards regarding Larry Rogers before she changed to the Beam team and Jeffrey Feiger, her attorneys, regarding her negligence lawsuit today. So the case is still in court, still active. Okay, we're continuing to follow that portion as well, and try to get as much update. But nothing is going on other than stalls and back and forth, stalls and back and forth, stalls and back and forth. But Jeffrey Feiger is the kind of attorney, he's a multi-million-dollar attorney. He wins his cases, and he understands the tactics of stall tactics, to try to tire the client out from pursuing justice in this case. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Thank goodness. So we'll see what happens as we continue. We'll see what happens. Hey, lovely. How are you? Soup Bone. How you doing? Bella, how are you? Just want to continue to read the chat room. Bottom line, no disrespect to them. It was another black girl dead. They don't care. I agree, Stephanie. You know, but you can see the evidence of their actions. You can see the evidence of their actions. Once you identify how these people responded to Kenneka Jenkins's death, you can see where the truth is, because it's right dead in our face. They're trying to tell us a story and make us believe it. They're trying to cover themselves to this day and make us believe in the accidental death story. And it's just not there. It's just not there. But they're hanging on to it. And so we will hang on to, no, it's not an accidental death. This, in our view, in our opinion, and we posted it, this was a homicide that was treated like an accidental death. Simple. This was a homicide treated like an accidental death. It's a simple conclusion. The process of deduction is real simple in this. You know, if you got 1 + 1 = 2, then 1 take away 1, 0. All right, I got it. Yeah, let's keep it simple, right? So their story doesn't fit. And that's what we've been trying to pursue, is truth, to let them know that their story doesn't fit at all. One of the most ridiculous stories I've ever heard. It's crazy. Because the crime scene photos, and they say a speaks 1,000 words. And it does. You can just take a look at one of the crime scene photos and you'll come to a conclusion real fast. Okay. Teresa told us nobody did nothing to her daughter. I remember that video clip that she had posted, or was posted, on YouTube, Megan. And I guess at that time she didn't know what to do. It was early in the case. several days afterwards, and she just didn't want to. And I'm not speaking on behalf of Teresa. I'm not. It's just my observation as to what I saw in that video in regards to her statement. But we know better. Once again, the crime scene photos tells us a lot. A lot of rich people involved in this case, but thanks, John, you don't have to be rich to solve a case or trying to open the case. That's right, Vanessa. That's right. You don't. Just common sense. John, do you believe she could be in protection? That's why everyone backed off and why there was such an elaborate cover up. Oh, okay. And that's what I wanted to explain also. That's what I do explain also in part 8. The reasons why there was a cover up. And that's simple as well. Because, like I said, once you put shattered glass together to recreate what it was before it broke, then you'll be able to identify why the Crown Plaza went into the direction they did and why they had the Rosemont Police Department write it up that way and why the medical examiner wrote it up that way as well. Rosemont, Illinois, population 4,500 people at best. 41 to 4,500 people at best. It's a tightly knit, small village. Anything that tightly knit with their own police department, their own convention center, their own resources, business establishments, you name it, right? Not too far from, the airport. Yeah, they're going to protect their money. They are definitely going to protect their money. So that's part of it. That's part of their motive for the cover up. Forensic tech guy, how you doing? Welcome. Grandma Kay, Stephanie Rogers, Denise Tracy. Thank you for stepping in. We're at 147 in the chat room. This is the largest that I have. You guys are blowing me away again. 147 counting, and my counter continues to go up. Yeah, so part of it is about money. It's protecting their investment. And as any other business person, it would only make sense to protect your investment, especially if you have another multi-million-dollar corporation or company in that's owned by a very high-profile Hollywood movie star, along with his family, to come into that particular area to bring their business to the same establishment, to create a partnership that can literally create billions for them. Billions. So yes, money is the magic to the cover up. Lovely Brown, how are you? Good to see you. Pete Lindrell, nice to meet you too. That's one aspect. So yes, follow the money because it definitely leads to some very interesting people. The Rosemont Police Department, unlike what we have seen ever in their investigation of the death of Kenneka, was a very interesting aspect of this case. For them to have done what they've done, how they have done it, is extraordinary. And it should be challenged by the FBI. It should be challenged by the FBI. The reason for the work that's ahead of us. The medical examiner's office, in part 7, the update to part 7, I wanted to make sure that that got out there, the series, because it was an important aspect as to whom they used to do the perform the autopsy on Kenneka. And when I found out it was a trainee medical doctor in pathology, who was a trainee fellowship under the medical examiner's office, who they allowed to have this trainee perform that autopsy just so they could write it up as hypothermia, the cause of death, with contributing factors of topiramate and ethanol in her blood. And so the order in which they wrote it up in the pathological findings makes sense. Because if you look at it real quick, yeah, it definitely says hypothermia. So case closed. They wanted to get rid of this case as quickly as possible. And they did on October 20th of 2017 when they closed it. When they closed it. And then posted the work on their website. Bold, right? The only death investigation case I've seen on a website is Kenneka Jenkins. How about you? Seen any death investigations on any other website other than the media news? But bold, like if this was a monument to them or something. But nonetheless, that's what we needed to look at this case. Thank goodness. God's on our side on this. And the more they tip their hand and the more they make mistakes, well, we're looking for what's wrong. The 36-hour video footage, I was looking at it to say, where the heck did they come up with a number? 47 cameras in a period of 24 to 48 hours. You can't come up with 36 hours. 47 times, okay, do the math. But somebody came up with the 6 hours. And the first I heard of it was from Teresa Martin's first 36 hours? Okay. And we still don't have it all. We don't have it all. We're missing 17 hours. Matter of fact, 21. I can put it together. 21 hours just in the upper kitchen. 17 when the cameras went off, when Kenneka went around the wall and disappeared, up until the next employee showed up at 8:35 p.m. the next night. So what? That's a time hole, a black hole, if you will. Just to tell us, oh, nothing happened to her. It was an accident. No, I don't think so. Because any other video surveillance footage on any other case, that camera would have still been rolling. And we would have definitely seen what happened, culprits and all. But in this particular case, let's just go ahead and knock out 17 hours and nobody will see it. Nobody will bother it. Well, they underestimated the power of love. They underestimated people, how they care. They underestimated it. Because that's where we came from, all of us. And enough to this day to still be working on it. That's how serious we are. This girl shouldn't have lost her life. She should have been protected because everybody else went home after the party, except Nika. Everyone home after that party except Kenneka. Why? Irene went to the police department several hours later just to make sure her story was the first one on the table. And I believe that's the reason why she shot her live, to protect herself. If anything goes down, y'all see it's not me. Kind of live. Where it started. And then she went to the police department, and there was a video someone shot on that. I was sitting in the police department getting ready to talk to the police, if you guys can remember that. Yeah. So she went out of her way to cover her tail to make sure that not only did she know what was going on in the room and what happened afterwards, but to make sure that the police understood that. This way they don't touch her. And as far as anyone else is concerned regarding police interviews, okay, it took some time to get those interviews up and running. Some time. I believe there were several YouTubers working on the narratives to this day, going over the statements. Watch Out Squad is one of them. Money Stacks is another. Chloe Olvera is definitely working on those statements. She's working on the phone dumps. Okay. We've got information pertaining to those statements as to the actions of certain people at certain times. Monifa, Shemaya, Bree, Mike, Cece, Ty, Tanasia, and a host of others. Okay. Cece doesn't have a narrative. She does not have a narrative. Why? Because Rosemont failed to do the job. They couldn't load her. It took until September 25th just to get Smack's group interviewed. Okay. September 25th from the 10th. They had to chase around in order to get him to be interviewed. In fact, there was a warrant out, a bench warrant for peace. Unbelievable. Crown Plaza did not do anything wrong. It would have not edited the videos. And when you edit it, you change the narrative. And so, yeah, exactly. Incredible as it is, you will find of the heaviest inconsistencies in this case that does not support the accidental death story. Every one of us know it. When you talk about the narrative interviews of the individuals that they involve, you begin to see how this story unfolds. Inconsistencies and lies. Everyone covering each other. Between the hours of 4 a.m. that morning at the Crown Plaza Hotel, September the 9th, the morning of September the 9th, 2017, out of the front of that lobby area, go back to the video, and I promise you it'll blow your mind. From 3:55 a.m. until 4:36, we see everybody from that party walk out the front doors of the hotel. Max group went out the front door when they came in the back door. Irene's group went out the front door as well. KKC, how you doing? We see Peas and Ty walk out the front door. We see Shemaya, Bree, and Monifa also walk out the front door. Smack's group walks out the front door. Irene's group walks out the front door. Just like Mike, CC, and Bree walked out the front door. We even see Killer at 4:36 walk out the front door. And why is everybody going out the front door when everybody didn't come in the front door? CC, Neff, and Travante Howard, they came in through the back at 11:30, 11:34. Mike, Little Ty, and Little Ty's cousin, they came in through the front, 11:32. Irene and her group came in the front door, came in with a sister and right through the front door. Man, Chandel Wilson and his little party at 3:25 a.m. come through the front door. Some say that Carl came through the front door at 110, 105, 110, through the front door. The group in the party, when it was over, everyone left out the front. It's an incredible scene, but you'll see it because it all happened in a course of about a half hour. And you have to ask yourself why. Why did they do that? No one searched for Kenneka. We saw that. No one searched for her. Absolutely. Period. And this is what gives the truth away. You can't make it up. So, and they know it because the YouTubers that have been putting out this content have been telling them we know it. And that's why they get on YouTube and Facebook every day watching our videos. What else is being posted that's brand new? Who else is talking about us? They haven't been. We did, Malika and I did um, a live together, and we called it sleep deprivation. For any of you who remember that live, and we talked about it because that's what they're still suffering from today. 54 Keys is in the building. 54 Keys is in the building. Hilton is in the building. Luscious is in the building. This is getting stronger, folks. This is not going away at all. With people such as the ones that I have named in this chat on my live, this is not going away anytime soon. You can count on it. And as long as we keep Kenneka's name alive and in our videos, and we're putting out solid, logical, concrete content, it'll stay that way until the case gets reopened. Because that's the only thing we're after, is getting this case reopened. No matter how long it takes, we're looking at getting this case reopened, period. And until we make contact with the authorities and someone wants to talk to us, or a point person or as a group, whichever, we're going to get them to talk to us. And it's going to be about this case. And there's enough physical evidence that we've put together that proves that this case needs to be re-examined, forensically examined. Because that's what they didn't do to begin with. They didn't do it. So guess what? We'll do it. And if it takes a bunch of non-professionals outside of law enforcement, outside of the medical profession, outside of private investigations, outside of uh, uh, those that realm, legal realm, to get anything done to turn this case around, then well, guess what? We're an army of one. I like that. Not alone. I like that. There are 165 people in this chat room that validate that. 165 people sitting with us here tonight that validate that. And I thank you. Every single one of you validate that because it lets us know that we're standing all together for this. I'm glad we are. Riri was all over that place that night. Yes, Bella, she was. I heard the video on Facebook when it first happened of the dispatcher saying confirmed camera was removed. Yeah, Deborah. Yeah. And it's on the audio recording. Absolutely. And so all these inconsistencies that we are finding and that we have all been recorded. And like I said, we've got folks, uh, content creators, serious content creators. As I said, 54 Keys, Malika the Lioness, Cole Vera, et cetera, et cetera. I have questions. Okay. Unk Fed, keep going as I did before. But yeah, we've got it. We've got it. And we're going to pull it together enough. believe it's I believe it's definitely going to be enough for them to look at it seriously because the public wants it. The public wants it, and we'll move on from there. So, as I said in the beginning, and that was the reason I put together parts 1 through 7. I don't know it all. I don't. I'm not sitting up here trying to act like I do. But just to give you enough of what my observation and my team's observation uh, has laid eyes on and come across and put together, just to let you know what we're finding. That's what we're trying to do. Not trying to be number one and all this other egotistical stuff that's going on out there in YouTube streets. No, to give you something um, we all may have overlooked. Each one of us make that contribution. And I'm glad because, as I said, I've learned from a lot of different content creators out there that help me to give me guidance and direction where I could look just to verify true or false, up or down, left or right, in or out. So I'm happy. I'm very happy to know that I'm working with a great team of people who's dedicated as I am. I just go longer than they do uh, in terms of getting you the information, getting you the information. All of us who's worked hard on this case is just trying to give you the information, not a sideshow, and we're not going to entertain you because we won't be here on this case for long, that's for sure. But we'll go long enough to make sure that this case is re-examined. You better believe it. And all the lies and all the twisted stories out there about Martin, about the family, about this one, about that one, about it doesn't matter to us. Okay. Like I said, that's a side note. That's a side note. It's got nothing to do with what happened to Kenneka. However, it's got everything to do with the story, though. Uh, in examining the upper kitchen, R95 and R94, and parts 5, I believe part 4, excuse me, part 4, parts 3 and 4, because I did a conclusion to part 3. I studied that freezer. I studied the latch handle. I studied the lock mechanism. There is no lock mechanism on that latch handle. I show you how it locks and what could be done to lock it. But those doors do not lock. They do not lock automatically. They have to be manually locked with a pin, a zip tie, something to obstruct that handle from being pulled back. Period. That's it. That's it. Or a padlock. Anything that would obstruct that handle from moving backwards block that door. But in this case, none of that was used. You didn't have to lock the door to someone that was already deceased. Why lock it? That's right. Like my father said, yeah, what you do speak so loud, what you say I can't understand. And then you have to take a look at the story. We're looking at it saying what you people do speaks so loud. What you've done speaks so loud. All the things you said, we don't understand. But we're beginning to understand it because we're educating each other regarding this case. It's going to put together the information that we need to get it done. So, any questions? I'm going to continue with the upper kitchen while you guys think of some questions. Studying that the lock on the cooler and freezer doors was paramount in the investigation because we wanted to find out a lot about what was going on the refrigeration unit and why one side was so filthy dirty and the other side wasn't. And I'm going to tell you something about the inside of both the cooler and the freezer because I'm going back to revisit the freezer in part 8. I'm going back to revisit the cooler in part 8, R95 and R94. R96, the freezer compartment in the upper kitchen, which was never investigated, never looked at by the Rosemont Police Department, more or less touched from anyone during the 4.5 hours of processing that crime scene. And that was a big red flag to me. Why didn't they touch R96? Why didn't they investigate to see if anybody was in there? R96 has two doors, one in the upper kitchen and one on the outside of the upper kitchen where the ice is. Once you pass the first two panel swinging doors going into that area just before you get to the wooden doors, R96 starts there. If you noticed, that was never investigated by the Rosemont Police Department during their death investigation. And according to the video surveillance footage in the upper kitchen during the time that they were processing the scene, uh, no pictures of it were ever taken. The content of the freezers were never taken. The medical examiner's walkthrough of that area was never taken when they arrived at a little after 3 to process the scene for themselves. There is no medical examiner field visit report of that death investigation. We don't have that. The toxicology report, which came back September 27th, uh, didn't have a final report summation. It was empty. It was empty. It didn't say what was in Kenneka's blood on September the 27th. Go back to that document. You'd be surprised. It only came back on October 5th. At the same time, the autopsy did. And the toxicology report only specified ethanol. And it was signed off. Now you have to ask yourself why. Mistake after mistake after mistake, not only from the bottom up, but also from the top down. A pyramid, if you will, just like Malika talked about in her lives, what it represents as above, so below, as within, so without. That's the content they created in this case. So, with that all said, we understand more and more day by day, week by week, what this case involves and what it entails. And it entails and it involves very bad, seriously crooked people that are out to protect their you know what's at all times. All times. In part 8, I'm going to also reveal something that startled me, and I know it's going to startle you. I had 4 photographs, 4 of them out for forensic examination. And I'll be following up on those photos. I was hoping to get some kind of confirmation on these particular photos because I'm trying to match up the dirt particles on Kenneka clothes to a specific item that I also found at the Crown Plaza Hotel, and it wasn't in the upper kitchen, to say the least. Going back into the freezer and going back and revisiting and re-examining again the crime scene photos that the photo technician of the Rosemont Police Department took. I was able to locate some very startling information about Kenneka's clothes and some other things that were in and around Kenneka in the freezer that they didn't move. One thing for sure, they didn't process footprints, fingerprints, or any forensics at all. This was just a typical walk in the park for them, they thought. But there was some information pertaining to the debris in her hair, the cerebral edema that she suffered from. It is present, it's boldly present. You can't miss it. We'll point it out, and I promise you, you will not miss what we're about to present to you. But cerebral edema was important because they gave it away in the autopsy. Non-specific. No, cerebral edema is never defined as non-specific, not unless you want to do something about it, and that's called the neurological examination. Never done. MRI, CAT scan, you name it. Never done. Never done. So we're doing it. Okay, not the neurological CAT scan or anything else like that for neurological findings, but we're doing it. We're putting it together and say, hey, you didn't do this. Why? You don't have proof that she walked into the freezer because the media in which you hired told us the same thing. You guys don't have video of her walking in the freezer, so how can you tell us that it's an accident then? We're still waiting for the proof. We're still waiting for the proof. Let me get to some of your comments. I know that the chat has definitely been flipping tonight. I appreciate every single one of you sharing your time with me, spending your time with me. I wanted to come on tonight just to give you an update as to what's happening to part 8. Waiting for to sync it over to my new laptop. And once that's done, it will be uploaded onto my channel. And then we will have a conversation once that does, believe you me. And I take positive comments just as negative, or whatever you want to say. I am open because that's where I learned the most. That's where I learned the most. Those of you who've been asking me about my email and a way to contact me in regards to, I guess, anything that you want to find, that you have found, that you'd like to share with me, I will be dropping that before I leave tonight, before we end the live, because you, as I said before, your input is very valuable to me. I listen very carefully. Bella, yes. As soon as we had some difficulties getting synced up from my tablet over to my laptop. So once we are able to take care of that issue, it will be uploaded. Okay. In fact, I may do a special quick live just to jump on there and let people know the moment I'm getting ready to post it. We can come back and say, look, it's going to be up in like 5 minutes. So, take a look at it. Cerebral edema is certainly something that needs to be considered primary. Yes, that's Chiavel. Yes, I didn't believe in paradoxical undressing. I said, where'd they make that up from? Paradoxical undressing. And then they tried to make sense out of it, or tried to anyway. But no, I've never heard of that language before. What language is that? How does that happen? When someone suffers from severe hypothermia, they begin to undress themselves. Oh, okay. I thought it was the other way around. Look at it, and then you understand what paradoxical undressing is. But the crime scene photo says, nope, we didn't do that here. Rosemont PD, conflicting reports without a men's version by law. They were supposed to be in the lawsuit as well. Yes, Doughboy. Yes. And as I said in my last live, I would have included in my lawsuit against the Rosemont Police Department and the medical examiner's office for an incomplete report because it was an incomplete report. Definitely. Body temperature was not registered. Stomach content not registered. I mean, oh my God. We were just finding all kinds of things until I got to the cerebral edema. And that I stayed on. I wanted to know exactly what that was. Because when I went back to the photos, it spoke so loud, I couldn't understand all of the words in the narratives at that time. So getting to that point, I stayed on, and my team worked the rest of the part video out for me. But I stayed on the medical examiner's report because I wanted to present it and get people's attention, get people's eyes. So that this way, if you go back and you're a content creator and you find something different, yeah, post it. We want to know a little bit about it if you want to share that. Post it because it is part of the case. Any of the Rosemont Police Report narratives, which was a very interesting read. You may find something in there. I'm always finding stuff in there. In fact, in part 8, I'm going to show you something that I found that's going to blow you away because it's not a part of the narratives anymore. It was a part of the original Rosemont Police Department statements, but it's no longer there because it was modified. But thank goodness to one content creator on YouTube, they were able to capture it. I was able to read it and find it, and I'm going to post it at 8 because this is the smoking gun of this case. I believe, and I said it before, it will be a game changer. It's going to flip this case. Yes, Tay, you have to question why they kept redacting the case files. As I said before, if you take a laptop computer, a desktop computer, a cell phone, go to the Rosemont website, look under the narratives, and go side by side, it's going to blow your mind. The evidence will blow your mind. March. Thank you for staying on the case. Really appreciate it. Well, thank you, Mindy. We have a lot of content creators on YouTube in this chat tonight. Well over 160 people sitting up in here who's uh, absolutely excellent work, all of us together. You know, whether you're a content creator or supporter of a content creator, and you've shared your thoughts and your comments with the content creators, you've all helped us. It's not a one person show. You've all helped us. Teresa's lawsuit will be tested to its limits, yes, due to not having all the details in the party. This is what's tying the courts up, Doughboy. This is exactly what's tying the courts up. You see, that's why they cannot come to a decision. The courts cannot rule on a decision in favor of, and so because they know it's a lot of information to get through. And so you have to the shattered glass that we talked about earlier on the floor, taking it piece by piece to see if it will be challenged. And it's smart because it's the same way they gave us this case, piece by piece. We're putting it together. We'll know what it was before it got brought, for sure. We're getting there and we already know. But this case has a cause, and that's what we're after. Once we have the cause, everything else will fall in place. And then the story will make sense to everyone. And there's no way anyone else can twist the story and keep showing 36-hour videos and uh, making movies and soap operas out of this tragic event. It'll put a stop to that too. I guarantee you it will. That's right, Bella. You are absolutely right about that definition for cerebral edema. Absolutely. But yeah, so I wanted to tell you as soon as we're able to get our thinking issue resolved, I'll go ahead and post part 8. I'm already working on part 9, and I'm looking um, some summary report material because we want to get to a point where we close the series up in terms of just putting it together. We're going to continue to follow up after the series, you bet. But to close the series up so we can get to new developments, new updates, and new information to uh, Teresa's negligent case, anything we can find, uh, along with um, along with any additional information that does come out of Facebook, does come out of YouTube, does come out of Chicago Tribune, and the media, and to see how they begin to respond to the information we want to put out. Amanda says, does anybody else think that this case is scratching the surface? Like, yeah. Oh, yeah, this case is going to scratch more than the surface. More than the surface. I wouldn't be surprised if you see some familiar faces from the past. Let me go back to your comment. As the chat is moving kind of fast here. Yes, in fact, Tay says also, John, want to mention that folks can send in their information to the Beam team, legal team. Attention, Teresa is a secretary, and Tay has posted an email address where you can actually send that information in regards to status reports or any information you may have. If you feel free to do that, but thank you, Tay, for posting that. And Truman, Andrew Holmes definitely needs to answer and correct his lies, saying Kenneka walked into the. I couldn't agree with you more, Linda. Couldn't agree with you more. And hence his motive was to Teresa, the hotel is losing money. The hotel is losing money. That's right. Okay, Megan asks, are we, as concerned citizens, allowed to file charges against RPD once enough has been gathered. Absolutely, Megan. Absolutely. I mean, we're looking to put together information to get over to the proper authority. In this case, as I said, the top cop is the FBI. Give it to them because that's where Papa lives. RPD is nothing but the kids. They have jurisdiction over it, national and federal. Yeah, give it to them, and they'll handle it, and that's where we're going. Okay. Well, to me, the medical examiner's report looks falsified. The fonts on the words were all different sizes. Absolutely, Mindy. That's what I pointed out in part seven. At least the one of the RPD nurse, which was the medical examiner's report to the Rosemont Police Department on the autopsy and toxicology report. So like a copy and paste situation. Copy and paste situation. We've got a host of those reports, but the one that caught my eye was admin number two, which was the Rosemont Police Department for Kenneka. That's the heartbeat of Part 8. That's the heartbeat of Part 8. I got something. Oh my God. Hmm. I am not even going there. It'll be, I would say, divine proof, if you will, that that document has been definitely revamped. Definitely revamped, without question. John's older videos, you'll see what he found about Cerebra in her report. Mindy, go look. Thank you, Bella. Andrew Holmes never lied. Oh, okay. All right, super. I was wondering, it's funny you mentioned Andrew Holmes too. I was wondering after the Kenneka Jenkins case, him and Jedediah Brown, the way Jedediah on several of his lives, after he found out that they flipped the story on him, he went ballistic in regards to lies that he were told and everything. And he says he would never work with Andrew Holmes again and never want to see him again. And he had, if he ever did, he would basically say what he was going to say to his face and all this other stuff. And then to find out, um, and then to find them together, working together on the Kira Coles case, the postal worker who went missing on October last year. We still don't know what happened to her. They showed us false video of her walking in the street. It wasn't her. I mean, stories after stories after stories. But you see them together working on that case. Well, what's going on there? Never to work again, but back in the street hollering justice for this and justice for that. Seems like every time they show up, things don't work out. I don't know. Ironic. Trying to catch up to some statements here. Hi, Gail. Gail Watson, how you doing? Okay. No, Malika, I haven't dropped part 8 yet. I was just talking about some transfer issues that I was having, but we're going to be getting through that. I'm working with one of my colleagues on my team that's that to make sure that the transfer is successful. I tried several times, but it was partial data and it broke it up. So we're going to start all over again, and I'm going to have him do it because he could do it better than I can. So, and it's a brand new laptop, so he works with laptops and stuff like that. But we'll get it up. We'll get it up because Malika knows what I'm talking about. We'll get it up. We'll definitely get it up. John, do you think a short film or movie? This is from Machiavel, British. Do you think a short film movie will bring more life to the case in a positive way, or be more of a distraction? Many people want to help, but are not sure how without hurting the case. And I agree with the latter part of what you said. Um, and this is just my opinion. For anyone to make a movie, documentary, short film, and so forth about the Kenneka Jenkins case now would be a distraction because the case has not been resolved. Hasn't been resolved. The case is closed, according to the Rosemont Police Department, October 5th of 2017. However, it has not been resolved. So to make a short film or a movie about it, to get to what? How do you end that film? What is the message of that film going to offer people? Okay, other than the message of obviously being with at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people, having the wrong results happen, where you lose your life, and the thing about young people and their friends and how they hang out and who they hang out with and their associations, that'll be part of it, obviously. But what's the other message? Where's the other message? What else can we learn from that? What can we do from that? But good comment. One of the biggest, excuse me, one of the biggest reveals was seeing Bree Bree, Man Man, and other females drive around the back in the vehicle to meet Kenneka and others guiding her. Yes, Dee Dee. And that was a turning point in part 5. We wanted to make sure everyone understood that when Mike, CC, and Bree Bree left that hotel from the front, they did go to the back. CC's car, the gray Buick SUV, is her car, and it was identified as such by Neff in the Rosemont Police Department's narrative report. What would her car be doing in the back of the hotel minutes later after Kenneka was down in the lower level, conference level, inebriated, walking those hallways, being guided through those hallways to the back of the hotel, same direction? So this indicates suspects. I just didn't call those 3 cars suspects. No, you put the timelines together and put the activities together, narrow them down. If they fit, yeah, that's what you get. And it so that's what we got. And yes, Malika's over there. Oh my God, part 8 is mind blowing. Malika knows, folks. Just want to let you know. So I'm not just sitting up here trying to shine on you part 8 because I want you to watch. No, no. There's some very credible information and evidence in that part. That's why I just want to get it up. But when we were having issues, I just said, I know I'll be patient. And that's hence the reason for tonight. I wanted to come and tell you. Absolutely. Absolutely. 54 Keys, I love your work. Every time you get on, I learn something. There, you've never disappointed me. And you haven't disappointed your audience either, ever. And I'm proud to know that you are part of this case and a part of this team. And it just gives me just great pleasure to know that you focus on the things that I've been focusing on. I've been focusing on the things you've been focusing on. When I started seeing synchronicity in our some of the material, not all of it, some of the material that we've released, I said, "Well, I'm not the only one after Mike, and Cece and Bree Bree. You were on Bree Bree's tail, and Mike Matters, and all of those important videos influenced me to start looking at these individuals. So I compliment you highly for your work, and we wish you out much love for all of the work that you've done, because you've never let us down with what you deliver. I wanted to mention that to you while you were in here. And Malika Linus has done a tremendous amount of work on the gangs, and she helped educate me. I said, "Gangs?" She said, "Yeah." And we were able to work together to begin putting together a gang. And the first one we obviously came up with was the Vice Lords, and then she took off. She did some of the most incredible background on the gangs, hence the only one in the Kenneka Jenkins case on YouTube that has done, I would say, 6 months, half a year, just on the gangs alone. Because the content blew me away every time she would go live or produce a video that spoke and educated us more who Kenneka was associated with. And so that played 50% of the case in terms of questions that got answered through her work. So absolutely, I mean, high props to Malika the Lioness for doing that. Because it really helped me to, okay, gangs, all right, what do they go for, and how do they work, how do they make their money, and Malika spilled it right out, section by section, region by region, gang by gang. He gave us incredible photos of the live gangs in Chicago. I didn't even know that there were that many, but they're huge. They're huge group. And then to find that the Vice Lords are national gang. Incredible. BDs, GDs, EBKs. I didn't know anything about those increments. Excuse me, those acronyms. I didn't know anything about that. I was totally confused. I got to get down to the bottom of the chat because I think I'm going real slow here. If I can get down to the bottom of the chat so you all don't start yelling at me. Okay. All right. Now I can go back up. All right. But yeah, and to work alongside her was a pleasure. We're going to be coming up on Friday. We're supposed to do a live on Friday that just passed, but she had an exclusive interview with Danny Devine, cousin to one of the murder suspects that has been charged with capital murder in Cupcake's death. And Derek, I believe her name is. And it was just an explosive interview. And Malika took her time and allowed Ms. Devine to just feel comfortable having a conversation. I love that, the way that was handled. And I was able to learn a lot. We were all able to learn a lot from a family perspective, relative perspective, as to what was going on with Derek at the time and what she went through. So to get that historical past background on her up to date, and which brought us to the video surveillance footage that Malika showed, the kids on the basketball court taken, and the two people that the police and the guy wanted to question that showed up in the video was incredible. So she did that live, and she asked me, "Oh, we'll go. Do you want to go live next Friday, and we'll get together and do it?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah." I said, our work is important, and I'm water. If I need to flow, I will flow. No big deal. But incredible exclusive interview. I loved it. I loved it. And if you haven't seen it, definitely visit Malika's channel. It's one of her most recent. It's the last live she did that captured that interview. It's extraordinary. So definitely check it out for those of you who are going to be following that case. Andrew Holmes said he's seen Kenneka walk into the freezer. Oh, where'd it come and go? I'm still getting used to my laptop, folks, so just bear with me. All right. I'll work this thing. I'll get it. I'll get it. I'll get it. Because I haven't been using this mouse, and I'm starting to see that I can highlight that and actually show that in the chat and the on the screen. So I'll get there. I'll get there. But yeah, no, you're welcome, Malika. You're welcome, and thank you. Thank you for your hard work and dedication to bring awareness and education to us. You know, there are some YouTubers out here that I I'm just so grateful for because yes, platforms can be used to educate, not just to get on here and bash and turn it into a neighborhood, which a portion of it is, but that's part of it though, but not a part of the negative neighborhood. I call it most definitely. That's what's going on with part 8. The key, I think, and the reason I'm not on here every day, I'm not throwing out videos every day or every week because I didn't get involved to do that. But the key to, I guess, our case right now to date would be part 5 and part 7 out of all that we've done pertaining to the cause. So part 5 and 7, you can look for cause in those videos because we know what the effects were, and that's hence the update to part 7 is the effects of the case, how it was handled, not only by the Rosemont Police Department, by the medical examiner as well. An important. Oh, let me see if I can get back to some of these. Thank you, Malika. Yes, part 8, I've been saying that part 8 will be worth the wait. And once I do get it up there, um, we will be looking at this case with brand new eyes, to say the least about it. Brand new eyes. Brand. Okay. Go check the toxicology report. It was the same person who did the autopsy. Kristen Howell is a forensic pathologist fellow. Yes. Means that she was not board certified. She was paid a stipend. Correct, Sarah. Definitely paid a stipend. Fellowship, 12 months. And after your fellowship is over and you get the training that you need, and you fulfill their requirements of 200 to 250 autopsies, completed and signed off by a certified medical examiner, and hence we get the supervising medical examiner who worked alongside of her during the Kenneka Jenkins autopsy. Okay, they are to be responsible for her signing off on it. Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, you did a fabulous job in covering the information pertaining to the funeral services of Cupcake. I was able to get a piece of that, and I am just so glad. I think this weekend from early start this week to find that things are moving along with that they were able to get the two parties that were responsible for what happened to her, and to get things coming to a closure and for preparing for court because the capital is a heavy charge. It, I even asked the question during the time Malika was doing the interview with Ms. Devine. Were there any comparisons to the Malia Davis case in comparisons to Cupcake's case? And it was very interesting, to say the least, but I'm not going to tell you what was said. You got to go check it out. But that was one of my questions because I did see huge similarities in uh, in both cases. Huge similarities. I'm going to start going back to your comments. Right, we are 146 at 140. Okay. Okay. I'm moving. I'm moving. I'm still working, folks. Love listening and reading all the comments, Rayanne. Definitely. Kanika's ninth month, Cupcake 10 months. 910. DC Bama 3209. I hear that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ah, John, check out Focus Forensics. Sometimes he doesn't make sense, but when he does, it makes you say, tends to ramble, but logical. I hear you, Janie. I hear you, Janie. I am familiar with focused forensics. And as I said, you know, um, everyone has made a contribution to the Kenneka Jenkins case. My hats are off to you. Whether you like a specific content creator or not, there is some relevancy to everything. There's relevancy to everything. And we have to take and look at everything in order to determine if it fits. And, some of it, as I said last live in the test live, I didn't agree with totally. I didn't agree with a number of content creators that were putting out stuff. And I highly agreed with some content creators that put out a lot of common sense. You can connect the dots type of common sense approach to case investigation, and it makes sense. It only makes sense to follow what makes sense, you know. And DC Bama, I've seen work, and I've learned some things from your channel too. And I appreciate you're coming out and showing what your findings are and everything. It's definitely helped me to uh, take another look from a different perspective as to what another person sees regarding the case. And if you have that kind of an open mind, then nothing hurts. Anyway, Felicia, still standing. How you doing? Teamwork does make the dream work, Felicia. It does make the dream work. Absolutely. Without it, uh, we'd be in some serious trouble. Would be in some serious trouble. Yeah, but it's got to fit. Johnny Cochran said, if it doesn't fit, you must quit. Yeah, got to throw it out. If it doesn't make sense. So you got to throw it out. In this case, stuff has to fit. It's got to work. And if it doesn't work, we're not talking about it. We're not going to waste our time with it. Why go to all that trouble and put all that time in to go in a circle? Absolutely. Thank you, Felicia. Still standing. And my hat's off to every single content creator and YouTuber in here, because, you all are the ones that have helped to keep us going and keep educating us, making your comments, like or dislike, don't matter. We're learning from these things. We're not here to get emotional about them. We're here to logically look at them and say, are we going in the right direction? Or do we need further? Do we have to dig deeper, harder? Do we have to pause, stop, re-examine, another look at, double check again, and then we find something? And the thing we find, it could turn the case wide open. That's how you look at it. That's how you look at it. And so I know I've not done a decent job at covering the chat because there's so many just flying by me and everything. But I just wanted to share that update with you to give you a little perspective on, the direction we're going. I believe part 8 is going to be the part that ties 1 through 7 together a whole lot tighter, and it will give you a new perspective on a direction that we all need to be looking at, because it is going to officially, and this I can say without spilling the beans, it's going to officially tie both together, the cause and effect, in this video. We wanted to see how both sides came together, and this video, I believe, moves us right there. It puts us right there, right in the middle, and we can look to the left, look to the right, and see how they both came together that caused this whole tragedy, and who is responsible for it. And hence the who becomes revealed. And then what we do afterwards is the interesting part, hence contacting and communicating our findings to the proper authorities. And then it makes sense. And we won't be on YouTube bashing each other for who's better and who's and all this other, egotistical, YouTube street noise, that people, clobbering each other for. But we'll be able to come together and put our eyes on that entity, that authority that's got this stuff, and say, hey, what's up? We need an update. We can point the finger at them now. We're just hoping that they re-examine the case just the way all of the YouTubers and content creators put their work together. They take their time and re-examine this case in that same fashion. Because there's no way that they can miss any conclusion to say, no, nothing is relevant, when all of it will be relevant. And hence, thanks again, those that worked hard to stay with us this long, to be in this long, and have dedicated themselves to this case. I wonder what Teresa Martin would say if we were able to get the FBI to reopen this case. Hmm? What Facebook live chat would she post? Hmm, would be interesting. It's not going to interfere with her negligence loss. It's only going to confirm negligence. So it doesn't hurt her case. We come up looking for criminal charges, and the only person who can deem criminal charges would be the FBI. And that's the reason for giving them the information to begin with. So two sides meet in the middle, and we could see the whole pie. Why settle for a slice when we can get it all? Thank you, blessed. Bye, TMH. Thank you, love. Yes, that's what keeps us going. Your statement, your comment just now, that's what keeps us going. Kenneka definitely keeps us going. Spiritual conversations, as I did mention in my last live, spiritual conversations um, is the backbone to all of this. None of this would have happened without a social connection. You couldn't do this with your cardinal mind. That's for sure. You have to be spiritually connected in order to persevere with this case and the magnitude of this case and the information regarding this case and the circumstances and the people and all of it. You have to be spiritually rooted and connected. I'm so glad that I share that podium, that forum with some real good, serious YouTubers that moving everything right along. We'll get there. We'll get there. Time is coming. For every season, there is a time for everything. So this time, uh, and I'm looking at the clock right now, we're at 1:57. My goodness, nabbed me for 2 hours again. Anyway, I'm going to end the live. I just want to jump on here to share the update and just to connect with you. You know what I'm doing, so that this way you don't look around. He said it was going to drop it. He said it was going to drop it. It's not posted. What happened? You know, work in this case, you have to be responsible. I said that before, and I'll say it again. You have to take responsibility. Those that do will always stay in touch. Those that don't care. Don't care. So with that said, I do apologize if I didn't get to a portion or majority of the statements and questions. I wanted to touch base with you all, because I said you guys make everything that our channel so far has become. I didn't think anyone was going to watch any of my videos or cared about the investigation that we were doing, um, but I was wrong. I didn't think that my name would be mentioned on multiple different platforms and other people's videos. They're even mentioning my name, and I truly appreciate that. Uh, I wasn't looking for that. I was looking for justice for this young woman. That's where I live. As I said, I've got two daughters. They are my heart, my left and my right. I'm in the middle. That's what makes me live. That's where I tick. They've given me grandchildren. And that expands and extends the love that we have for each other. I wish that on all the families of the world. And in order for us to accomplish something anywhere close to that, and it's not just to say that, oh, I got it and you don't. No, all get there little by little by caring. That's all. We're all here on this planet trying to do something to accomplish something. That is a purpose. And I've always believed that that purpose is to love, to grow, and to take care of the planet and the people on it. We can do that and collectively do it, and all of us do it. And guess what? We would wipe 90% of the negative off, as it should be anyway. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. It'll never fit. But I guess we got some learning and some growing to do. I guess we have some loving to do. We've got to continue to get our education from it. Only define our true purpose. So yeah, you have to be spiritually connected for that to happen. So with that, Douglas Anderson, did I see him come in? Did I see him come in? Yes, I did. Douglas, how you doing? I appreciate it, Douglas. Douglas's comments and his wisdom and insights. Extraordinary. I listened to him before I ever even dreamed of going to post videos. I've learned a lot. He was able to focus in on some key information that really got my attention. Douglas, welcome, bro. Welcome. Everything's good. Everything's good. We're just discussing updates and talking about part 8, which will be soon to be released. I'm hoping to get it up as quickly as possible. Really can't give you time at this point because to do that and not be sure of how the transfer is going to go, it would only disappoint me. But once it is, like I said, I will go live for a quick moment just to let you know. It'll be posted within the moment I get off the live. So have your notification bells and all the stuff that they talk about on, to get ready to get ready to get ready for our channel to post it. And I want to thank you all. Thank you all for blessing me with your time and your hearts and your attention on a very important case. We'll get justice. We will. And pray for those who've lost their lives, their families, who suffered and endured through the pain of losing a loved one, such as some of the cases that we've come across. Hearts go out to you. We do this for you. We do it, not only do it for ourselves, we do this for you and to keep everybody tight in the loop. Go forth. My love, every single one of you. I'll come back and speak with you a little bit more. I want to get this work done so I can get this posted, and then we'll talk some more. With that, as I always say, be well and stay blessed with Godspeed. John Q. I'll talk to you later. Good night.